Have you ever paused in front of the mirror, stared into your own eyes, and quietly asked yourself, do people still find me attractive? As the years pass, it's completely natural to wonder if your appeal has faded, if the looks that once turned heads still command attention, or if that magnetic charm you carried in your younger years has somehow lost its spark. But here's something most men don't realize. You may be far more attractive now than you've ever been, and you might not even see it. Attractiveness isn't just about smooth skin, a full head of hair, or the kind of youth-driven energy we see in magazines. True attractiveness goes deeper. It matures. It evolves. It's shaped by experience, enriched by confidence, and magnified by presence. The way people respond to you, the way they listen when you speak, seek out your advice, or subtly gravitate toward you in a room, those are all powerful indicators of how much value they see in you. And whether or not you've noticed, there are certain signs that reveal when a man has become even more compelling with age. In fact, there are clear, unmistakable signals that you're not just aging, you're becoming more distinguished, more magnetic, and yes, more attractive. In this video, we're going to explore 7 key signs that suggest you're still turning heads, even if you don't always notice it. And these signs go way beyond the surface. They're rooted in how you carry yourself, how others respond to your presence, and the quiet confidence that's grown with every experience you've had. So stick around until the end, because the very qualities you may be overlooking in yourself could be the exact reasons people find you captivating. You might just discover that your appeal has matured into something even more powerful than it was in your youth. And by the time we're done, you won't just be reminded that you still have it. You'll realize you never lost it to begin with. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. If you don't like it, type 0 in the comments to let me know so I can make better videos for you. Now let's get started. Sign 1. You're often sought out for advice or assistance. Have you ever noticed how often people come to you with their questions, problems, or personal thoughts, even when you're not trying to offer yourself as a go-to guy? Maybe it's a younger colleague who pulls you aside to ask for guidance on a career decision, or a friend who reaches out when they're going through something tough, or even someone you barely know who instinctively turns to you for directions or help in a group setting. At first, these might seem like ordinary interactions, just people being friendly or respectful, but take a closer look. There's something deeper going on. Being approached for advice, help, or input is one of the most subtle yet powerful indicators that others, especially women, find you attractive, and not just in a superficial way. Not in the way you might have been admired for your looks when you were younger. This kind of attraction is richer, more layered, and far more meaningful. It comes from the way you carry yourself, the energy you give off, and the experience you've collected through the years. As men grow older, our value doesn't diminish. It transforms. It matures. Youth is often loud, eager, and attention-seeking. But with age comes a quiet confidence, a kind of steady presence that doesn't need to shout to be heard. That calm, self-assured demeanor becomes magnetic in ways you may not even realize, and people, especially women, pick up on it, often before you do. You see, attractiveness at this stage in life isn't about chasing attention. It's about commanding it without trying. And one of the clearest ways that shows up is in the trust others place in you. When women seek your advice, linger in conversation, ask your opinion, or seem genuinely interested in your perspective, they're doing more than just being polite. They're drawn to something in you that feels grounded, safe, and real. It's emotional intelligence. It's wisdom. It's your ability to listen, to respond thoughtfully, to not overreact. It's the steadiness in your voice and the life in your eyes that tells them you've been through things. And yet, you're still here, still showing up, still learning, and offering something valuable. That kind of presence is incredibly attractive and very rare. Take a man like Richard. At 67, he never thought of himself as particularly handsome. He wasn't flashy or loud. He didn't try to impress anyone, but something interesting kept happening. Whether he was at a dinner party, a networking event, or even just out for coffee, people gravitated toward him. Younger men would pull him aside to ask about relationships or life choices. Women would strike up conversations, asking about his travels, his career, his take on the world. They'd laugh a little longer, lean in a little closer. Not because he was trying to be charming, but because he was. He had something most people didn't: depth. a calm presence, the kind of quiet strength that doesn't demand attention but commands it all the same. You might be experiencing the same thing without even noticing. Think back. How many times have you found yourself being the one others go to for perspective? How often do people open up to you in ways they don't with others? Do you find that women genuinely listen when you speak, not just out of politeness, but with real interest? These are all signs that go beyond surface-level attraction. They reveal that others see something in you that they respect, admire, and yes, find attractive. Not because you're trying to win them over, but because you've become someone who doesn't need to. That's one of the greatest shifts that happens as you get older. The chase fades, and in its place, there's magnetism. A man who no longer seeks validation is often the one who receives the most respect. The one who isn't trying to be seen is the one people end up watching. So the next time you're approached for guidance or simply find yourself being drawn into meaningful conversations, pay attention. That's not coincidence. That's presence. That's quiet confidence. And in a world full of noise, that kind of grounded energy is not only rare, it's deeply attractive. You might not always hear it in the form of compliments, but the way people treat you, the way they seek you out, linger near you, trust you, it tells a story. And that story says, you're not just attractive, you've become the kind of man others want to be around. Sign 2. You receive compliments on your style and grooming. Let's talk about something that may seem simple on the surface, but carries a much deeper meaning than you might expect: your style. If you've ever been complimented on the way you dress, your grooming, or just the way you carry yourself, it's not just about the clothes. It's a reflection of how people see you. As men get older, something begins to shift. While youthful good looks may fade or change, a new kind of magnetism takes its place. One rooted in confidence, experience, and presence. And style? Style becomes a language of its own. It's a powerful nonverbal way of showing the world who you are without saying a single word. And when people respond to it, especially with compliments, it means they're noticing something more than just fabric or fashion. They're noticing you. A compliment like, "You always look sharp," or "That jacket really suits you," or even, "You smell great," might sound casual, even offhand. But don't brush it off too quickly. These comments reveal that your appearance is making an impact, that the way you present yourself is leaving a lasting impression. Think about how many men stop paying attention to their appearance as they get older. It's common. Life gets busy. Routines settle in. And the temptation to become comfortable, sometimes too comfortable, grows stronger. But the man who continues to take pride in how he looks, who puts in the effort to groom himself well, dress with intention, and carry himself with dignity, that man stands out. And in a world where many blend in, standing out is powerful and undeniably attractive. Let's take Robert as an example. He's 68. For most of his life, he didn't consider himself especially stylish. He wasn't trying to be fashionable. He simply liked to look neat, put together, and well-groomed. But something started to catch his attention. At casual get-togethers, people began commenting on his crisp shirts. Strangers complimented the scent he wore. Women would smile and say, "You've got great taste," or "That color really brings out your eyes." At first, he dismissed it all. He assumed people were just being nice. But over time, the pattern became clear. People weren't just noticing his clothes. They were noticing how he wore them. They were responding to his presence, the way he carried himself with pride and intention. And that spoke louder than he ever realized. That's the thing about style. It's not about keeping up with trends or dressing like a 25-year-old. It's about owning your look. It's about understanding what works for you, what fits your personality, your body, and your life, and wearing it with quiet confidence. Whether it's a tailored blazer, a clean pair of shoes, a well-maintained beard, or even a signature watch or cologne, these small details create a powerful impression. They show that you care, not just about how you look, but about how you present yourself to the world. And women take notice. They notice a man who pays attention to grooming, who smells good, who takes the time to match his belt to his shoes, who shows up with his shirt pressed and his posture strong. It tells them that this man respects himself, and that makes him someone worth noticing. But even beyond the compliments, pay attention to the little things. When you walk into a room, do people turn their heads? When you approach someone, do they smile with genuine warmth? When you offer a handshake, do they seem pleasantly surprised by your polished appearance? These reactions aren't random, they're signals. Signals that your effort, your style, your presence is quietly commanding attention. So, if you're the type of man who still takes pride in how you show up, whether it's for a dinner, a casual coffee, or just your everyday routine, know this: that effort doesn't go unnoticed. It's seen, it's felt, and it speaks volumes. Because at the end of the day, style isn't just about clothing. It's about character. And when people compliment your look, they're often responding to something deeper. Your confidence, your self-respect, your identity. That's true attractiveness, and it only gets stronger with time. And if you're still with me, still resonating with these insights, I'd love to know you're here. Drop a number 2 in the comments to let me know you're paying attention. Because believe me, the world is paying attention to you. Sign 3. Women hold eye contact with you longer than usual. Let's keep going. This one might surprise you with how much meaning is hidden in something so simple: eye contact. Have you ever caught a woman looking at you just a moment longer than expected? Maybe her gaze lingers, her eyes flicker back after glancing away, or she smiles faintly before returning to what she was doing. You might dismiss it as coincidence, but it's often something more. Attraction doesn't always announce itself loudly. In fact, some of the most genuine, authentic signals of interest are quiet, subtle, and deeply instinctive. And one of the most telling? Prolonged eye contact. When a woman holds your gaze, even briefly, longer than what's typically considered polite, it's rarely by accident. That extra second is packed with meaning. It might be admiration, it might be curiosity. It might be a quiet signal of interest she doesn't even fully understand herself. But make no mistake, she noticed you. You see, women, especially those who are naturally reserved, often don't express attraction through bold, overt gestures. Instead, they let their body language do the talking. A slightly longer gaze is one of those universal, almost primal expressions of intrigue. It's not about staring, it's about noticing, and letting that moment hang in the air just long enough to say, "There's something about you." Think back for a moment. When was the last time this happened to you? Maybe it was during your morning walk. Maybe in line at the grocery store, at a social event, or while sipping coffee at your favorite cafe. A woman looked your way. Your eyes met. She didn't immediately look away. Or maybe she did, but then looked back again. That flicker of hesitation, that small pause before glancing away. That's her telling you, without words, "You've caught my attention." Let me tell you a story. There's a man named Charles, 72 years old, distinguished, quiet, thoughtful. He never saw himself as someone women might still find attractive. In his younger years, sure, he got attention here and there, but with age came a kind of invisibility. Or so he thought. One afternoon, while browsing a quiet bookstore downtown, he noticed a woman, younger than him, glance over from the opposite shelf. Their eyes met for a second. She looked away quickly. No big deal, he thought. But then it happened again. As he turned a corner into another section, there she was. She glanced at him once more, but this time her gaze held for just a beat longer, followed by the faintest smile before she turned back to her book. To Charles, it felt insignificant, even confusing. But to her, she had noticed something. It wasn't about looks alone. It was his presence, his calm demeanor, the way he held himself. He wasn't trying to impress anyone, and that's exactly what made him stand out. This is the part many men don't realize. True attractiveness, especially in mature men, isn't about trying to be flashy or chasing validation. It's about how you carry yourself, the quiet confidence that comes with lived experience, the subtle charm of someone who knows who they are. That kind of energy doesn't demand attention. It attracts it. So when you see a woman holding your gaze, she's not just looking at your face. She's noticing your posture, your presence, the calm self-assurance that sets you apart from the noise. It might be the way you dress, it might be the wisdom in your eyes, it might be the way you move through the world like someone who's not trying to prove anything. And that's magnetic. And here's the truth. You don't have to look like a movie star to be captivating. What makes you attractive now is different than what made you attractive in your 20s. Back then, it might have been about energy and youth. Now, it's about substance, depth, and the way you make people feel in your presence. So, the next time you catch someone looking at you, don't shrug it off. Don't assume it's meaningless. Sometimes the most honest signs of attraction are the ones that speak the quietest. That brief glance, that held stare. It might be her way of telling you, there's something about you I can't quite ignore. Don't underestimate what that says about you. You are noticed. You are seen. You are still undeniably attractive. Sign 4. Younger men show you respect and admiration. Now, you might be thinking, what does the respect of younger men have to do with being attractive? But here's the truth. Attraction isn't only about how women perceive you. It's also about the kind of energy you radiate and how people respond to it across the board. When younger men consistently show you respect, seek out your perspective, or even try to emulate your demeanor or style, you're witnessing something powerful. Your presence commands attention. Your influence extends beyond generations. And that in itself is magnetic. You see, men, especially younger men, tend to size each other up. It's often subconscious, but it's very real. They compare, they analyze, and more often than not, they're measuring confidence, control, and authenticity. So when a younger man looks up to you, it's not just about good manners. It's admiration, it's acknowledgement, it's respect rooted in something deeper. An unspoken recognition that you've become the kind of man they aspire to be. That kind of influence doesn't come from trying too hard. It doesn't come from bravado or flashy displays. It comes from experience, from living through real struggles, from learning how to carry yourself with quiet authority and emotional steadiness. When younger men treat you as a role model, it means you're projecting something strong and admirable, a sense of inner power that doesn't need to be shouted to be felt. Let's take a closer look. Think about your recent interactions with younger men. Do they casually ask for your advice? Seek your take on career decisions, relationships, or even how to handle tough moments in life. Have you noticed them complimenting your style, your watch, your shoes, the way you carry yourself? These moments might feel small, but they're anything but. They're subtle confirmations that you are admired, and more importantly, that you're seen as someone who has figured it out. Consider Martin, a 65-year-old entrepreneur who owns a small but successful business. For years, he viewed himself simply as the boss. But over time, he began to notice something more meaningful. His younger employees weren't just coming to him for job instructions. They were leaning in for life advice. They'd ask him how he juggled work and family, how he stayed calm under pressure, or what guided his decisions in tough times. At first, Martin brushed it off as part of being older. But then he realized it wasn't about age. It was about respect, about presence, about wisdom worn with humility. That's what real attractiveness looks like as you grow older. It's not about chasing attention. It's about becoming someone who commands it naturally. And here's the fascinating part. Women take notice. Women are incredibly observant when it comes to social dynamics. They see how others respond to you. And when other men, especially younger ones, treat you with deference and admiration, it sends a strong signal. This is a man of value, a man who has earned his place, a man others turn to for guidance. Women find that incredibly attractive. Why? Because it speaks to qualities that go far beyond the surface. Leadership, wisdom, emotional maturity, and integrity. When you're respected by other men, it tells the world, and the women in it, that you're the kind of man who doesn't just talk the talk. You live it. So, the next time a younger man says, "I admire how you handled that," or asks you for advice, or gives you a nod of respect, don't just see it as flattery. See it for what it is. A powerful reflection of your character, your confidence, and yes, your continued attractiveness as a man who's aged with both strength and grace. If you're seeing this happen in your life, take it as a clear sign. You are still turning heads, just in ways you might not have expected. Sign 5. Women initiate conversations or try to get your attention. Now, this one might seem like a no-brainer, but it's often more subtle than we realize. And it's also a sign that you're still very much attractive. Many men, especially as they get older, tend to assume that a woman will only approach them when she's genuinely interested or attracted. But the reality is there's a whole spectrum of ways women express interest, and it doesn't always involve an overt declaration. You see, the key to understanding this sign lies in recognizing the nuanced ways women initiate interaction. It's not always about making the first move in a bold, flirty manner. Sometimes it's about small, seemingly innocent efforts to get your attention, and these often go overlooked. For example, a woman might ask you a seemingly innocuous question at the coffee shop, even if the answer is right in front of her. It could be something simple like, "Do you know if this is the new release by that author?" Or, "Is that your usual drink?" At first glance it seems casual, but there's often an underlying curiosity. It's not about needing the information. It's a test, a gentle way of gauging how you'll respond, a subtle opening to create a connection. Or perhaps she compliments your jacket, your watch, or even the scent of your cologne. She might notice your grocery choices in the store or comment on the unique way you carry yourself. These gestures might seem random, but they aren't. They're feelers, small hints that signal interest, curiosity, and sometimes even attraction. What you might not realize is that, as you get older, the way women express interest tends to shift. It's no longer about playful giggles, coy glances, or tossing her hair like in your 20s. Instead, it becomes more refined and more deliberate. Women are now more likely to express curiosity about you, either through subtle flattery or by engaging you in light, thoughtful conversation. They might ask you for advice or simply show interest in the things around you. Take, for example, a situation at a bookstore. Imagine you're browsing and a woman nearby comments, "Oh, I love that author. Have you read his other books?" It's an innocent question at first, but the key here is the context. Does she linger after the question? Does she try to keep the conversation going? Does she ask a follow-up question about your tastes or recommendations? These aren't just casual comments, they're ways of creating a spark, ways of seeing if there's an opportunity to connect further. If she sticks around or seems eager to engage, then her interest is likely more than just friendly curiosity. Let's consider Alex, a 55-year-old man who recently went through a divorce. He noticed something interesting after starting his fitness routine at the gym. At first, it seemed like casual interactions, like when a woman would ask, "Have you tried that new workout?" Or, "How long have you been doing this for?" It was friendly, sure, but there was always a sense of admiration in her tone, something that made the conversation feel more personal than just pleasantries. He realized these weren't random comments. They were ways of opening the door to more interaction, of showing interest without pushing too hard. Alex's experience is far from unique. Many older men find themselves in similar situations where women approach them with kindness and curiosity, but not in a forward or aggressive manner. It's not the flirtatious banter you might have seen in your younger years, but it's a form of engagement that speaks volumes. It's the kind of attention that makes you feel seen, not just as an older man, but as someone with an intriguing presence, someone who has a certain magnetic energy that draws people in. So, next time you're out, and a woman takes the initiative to strike up a conversation, don't brush it off as mere small talk. Pay attention to the tone, the body language, the way she's standing. These small moments, whether it's a compliment, a casual question, or an offhand comment, are often signals that you're still very much in her orbit and that she's interested in knowing more about you. It's a reminder that attraction doesn't fade with age. It evolves and often becomes more refined, more layered, and more intriguing. If this happens to you, it's a clear sign that you're still being noticed and even desired, even if it's not done in a bold, dramatic way. Attraction, especially in older men, is frequently expressed through subtleties, and these subtle attempts to get your attention are one of the clearest signs that you're still turning heads. Sign 6. People assume you're taken or married. Now this one might catch you off guard, but believe it or not, it's actually one of the most compelling indicators that you're still very attractive as a man, particularly as you grow older. Have you ever noticed how, no matter where you are, at social gatherings and meetings or even at casual hangouts, people, both men and women, often assume you're already in a relationship? They'll casually mention things like, "So what does your wife think of that?" Or, "Does your partner agree with this?" Even though you never mentioned anything about being married or in a relationship. At first you might think this assumption is based on a mistake or a misunderstanding. However, in reality, it's actually a huge compliment, and it's a sign of how others perceive you. The reason people make this assumption is because you exude a certain energy that suggests value, maturity, and desirability. You carry yourself like someone who is already loved, appreciated, and in demand. This impression doesn't simply come from the fact that you're married or in a relationship. It comes from the way you present yourself to the world. It's reflected in how you dress, how you move, and how you interact with others. It's in your confident demeanor, your composed attitude, and your ability to communicate with poise and charm. These are all signals that people naturally associate with someone who is already spoken for, someone who has options and is valued. They might not say it outright, but they recognize that you have an aura of self-respect, confidence, and emotional maturity, which are all qualities often found in individuals who are cherished by a partner. For example, think about a man in his 40s or 50s who is confident, well-groomed, and knows how to carry himself. It's not uncommon for people to ask, "What does your wife think about that?" or make comments about your partner, even if you never mentioned having one. This assumption comes not from anything you've said, but from the energy you project. It's a subconscious signal that you're seen as relationship material, someone who is desirable, stable, and self-assured. People don't automatically assume you're single because you seem like someone who is already committed or cherished by another person. Take Marcus, a man in his late 40s who had a fascinating realization. He found that whenever he engaged with new people, especially women, they would casually reference his partner or say things like, "Your wife must love that," at the start of a conversation. At first, Marcus was confused because, in reality, he was single, but over time he came to recognize this was not a mistake. It was a compliment. It meant he was giving off the kind of energy that suggested he was stable, mature, and had a presence that made people assume he was already in a loving, committed relationship. This perception of being spoken for is incredibly powerful. It's a sign that you're seen as someone worthy of being in a relationship, even if you're not currently in one. It implies that you possess the traits people look for in a long-term partner: emotional intelligence, confidence, reliability, and someone who can handle life with composure. More than just physical attractiveness, you exude the type of energy that draws people in and makes them think, "This person must already have someone who values them." And here's the kicker. If you're out in the dating world, this perception works in your favor as well. When people think you're already taken, it only adds to your intrigue. They're more likely to approach you with curiosity or respect, wondering what it is that makes you so desirable. It's as though the aura you've cultivated is attracting attention before you even have to do anything. You're already giving off the vibe of someone who is emotionally mature and someone that others would want to claim, whether or not you're currently in a relationship. Let's be clear, though. This isn't just about being married or in a relationship. It's about the powerful presence you have. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you dress with intention, the way you interact with others, and the sense of self-worth you project. People's assumptions aren't based on your relationship status. They're based on how you make them feel. And if they feel that you're the kind of person who is highly regarded by someone else, that's an unmistakable sign that you still have that it factor, whatever it is. So the next time someone assumes you're taken or married, don't dismiss it as a mistake. Instead, take it as a strong and subtle compliment. It means you're radiating qualities that make you highly attractive, qualities that go beyond physical appearance and into the realm of emotional maturity, confidence, and the kind of energy that people find irresistible. Sign 7. You know how to make others feel seen and valued. This might very well be the most important indicator of all, because it's not just about how others perceive you. It's about how you make them feel. In a world full of distractions and superficial interactions, one of the most powerful and magnetic traits an older man can possess is the ability to genuinely connect with people. When you're truly present in a conversation, when you listen attentively without interrupting, when you remember small details about someone's life, or when you offer thoughtful, reflective responses instead of simply waiting for your turn to speak, you create something rare, a sense of deep connection and trust. This kind of emotional intelligence is incredibly attractive. People remember how you made them feel. In fact, more often than not, they'll remember how you made them feel over what you actually said. That feeling of being truly seen and valued is something that resonates with people long after the interaction is over. It creates an emotional bond that lingers, and that's what makes you stand out. This ability to connect with others is something that tends to come with life experience. Over time, you realize that being the center of attention or always striving to be interesting isn't as important as being interested in others. You learn that meaningful conversation is not just about sharing your own stories and opinions, but also about drawing others out, listening actively, and making them feel heard and appreciated. That's a rare and incredibly valuable trait. Think back to the last time someone said something like, "I always feel better after talking to you," or "You're such a good listener," or even, "I feel like I can talk to you about anything." Those aren't just nice things people say. They are genuine reflections of the trust and comfort you bring into any room. It's a rare gift, and it's one that not only improves the lives of those around you, but also makes you more attractive, especially to women. Emotional intelligence and maturity are qualities that are highly valued, but hard to come by, and they don't go unnoticed. Women in particular often find this trait especially attractive because it's something that many younger men are still learning to develop. While younger men may still be focused on gaining attention or proving themselves, older men with life experience have often mastered the art of being present and giving their full attention to others. This sets you apart from younger men who may still be navigating the complexities of interpersonal relationships, making your emotional maturity even more alluring. Now, you may not have the same youthful glow that you did in your 20s, but what you have now is something far more enduring and meaningful. The ability to truly see people and make them feel seen. And in a world where many feel overlooked or undervalued, that kind of attention and care is a precious commodity. People crave genuine connection, and when you can offer that, it doesn't just make you attractive, it makes you unforgettable. This ability to listen, empathize, and create a space where others feel heard is one of the strongest magnets for drawing people to you. It's not flashy or attention-grabbing, but it's the kind of enduring appeal that sticks with people. It's the kind of attraction that's about depth, not just surface-level features. So, the next time someone expresses how much they appreciate your ability to listen or how much better they feel after talking to you, don't dismiss it as something small. Recognize that it's a sign of something much larger. It's a sign of your appeal, your emotional maturity, and the quiet power you hold in making others feel valued, something that only deepens with age and experience. If you've recognized even just one or two of these signs in yourself, pause for a moment and appreciate what you're seeing because it's powerful. What you're noticing isn't just a reflection of your physical appearance. It's proof that your attractiveness has evolved and grown in ways that transcend the surface. Over time, the appeal you carry is no longer simply about youthful looks or the passing trends of style. It's become something much richer, something much more enduring. Perhaps you've been doubting yourself lately. Maybe you've stood in front of the mirror and wondered if you still have it. It's easy to fall into that trap, especially as the years go by. But here's the reality. If people are seeking your advice, complimenting your style, holding eye contact with you a little longer than usual, laughing at your jokes, or simply gravitating toward you in conversation, then yes, you most certainly still have it, and then some. The truth is, your value, your presence, and your appeal have only deepened with time. Maturity, experience, and emotional intelligence are qualities that grow stronger and more attractive as you age. These are qualities that no wrinkle, no gray hair, and no changing physical feature could ever take away. They are the essence of who you are, the things that define your true beauty as a person. Take pride in the man you've become. Whether or not you've fully recognized it, others already see the strength, confidence, and quiet magnetism you bring into every room. They notice the way you carry yourself, the way you make others feel, and the unique presence you offer to the world. You've cultivated qualities that are impossible to fake, and those qualities are what make you magnetic. So, embrace where you are right now. Celebrate your journey and all that it has brought you, because the most attractive thing about you isn't just how you look, but the man you've become over time. You are a blend of wisdom, confidence, and emotional depth that only gets better with age. If you've been wondering whether your appeal has faded, now you know. It has only evolved into something more genuine and more powerful. If you've enjoyed this video and want more insights like these, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let us know which sign you resonated with most, and how you plan to embrace and showcase your unique appeal moving forward. Your thoughts really do matter, and they help us continue creating content that speaks directly to you. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.